I think you guys already know the answer to this question, but let's go ahead and dive into it. All right, guys, I am out here on the water, and we have a 12 G4N at the top, and at the bottom we have a 10-inch G3N unit. Both of these are Humminbird Helix units. I don't think the whether it's a G4 or a G3 really matters in what we're talking about today, because as far as the pixelation, the quality image that you're getting is going to be about the same on these. But the question that we have is the size of the screen, does that really matter whenever we're out here on the water and determining what you're seeing on the screen and what you can see when you're actually looking at the screen? So right now I just have them both on the 360 imaging, and it's just set at the regular screen size. So what we'll do is go ahead and let's just get a little closer look so you guys can see what we're looking at here. So from that distance I was just at, obviously you can see this cluster of rocks here, you can see another cluster of rocks here, and there's a lot of rocks all around this area right here. We are sitting in around 6 to 6.5 feet, something like that out here. And I have the range set at 60 feet. The range rings are set at 15 feet. And it's not zoomed in or zoomed out or anything. So that is just the regular size. So that's what we're starting at, guys. Just at a base level on both of these units. So this one is the same right here. And you can see that same cluster of rocks. You can see another smaller cluster of rocks, and the closer we get, you can actually see the real small pebbles and things like that. And these rocks are pretty big, pretty nice size, because remember, this is set at 60 feet, and so these range rings are 15 feet apart. So this rock right here is about 1/3 of that right there. So that's probably about a 5-foot boulder right there. So that's a pretty significant boulder size. But if you look closer, you can see some smaller ones in here, just to give you an idea of the detail. So let's just go back up again. And from this is when I'm standing up. This is what it will look like whenever you're standing up. So you can still see the definition on the smaller one, those boulders that I was pointing out. When you look up at the one at the 12, you can see those a little bit better, just simply because the screen is bigger. All right, so now let me just show you guys a way that you can kind of compensate for that. If you come down here on this 10, and let's just hit this positive button, we're going to zoom in on this. So now, when you look at the screens, the 10 is actually bigger than the one on the 12, the image on the 10 now, but that is because you have zoomed in. And when you look at the quality of the image, it looks about the same. And let me see what just happened with my 12. Okay, just had to reset real quick. All right, so whenever you're looking at it like this, I hope that wind isn't too much for you guys. But whenever you're looking at it like this, you can see the image of the boulders. They are larger now, which makes them easier to see, but whenever you get closer to the screen, the image quality kind of diminishes just a little bit. It doesn't seem as though it is significant enough to where that would cause any type of issue, but that is a way you can kind of compensate. If you have that smaller screen, you can zoom in on it, but of course you're going to lose some of this top part area, some of the top part of that 360 image, and some of that the bottom part of that 360 image. So that's kind of something that you may have to take away from that as far as whenever you're trying to compare those two. But let's look at the 12. Now let's just bump this 12 up. We'll hit that same plus button over here, and we're just zooming that in. So I just hit that 3 times. So now we've zoomed in 3 times on that 12. Now look at this size difference in those two images. So as far as comparing those screen size, the smaller screen is not really going to be able to compete with that bigger one whenever you're comparing apples to apples on that. If you zoom in on the 10 and you zoom in on the 12, look at the definition now on that 12. Those smaller boulders actually get a lot, they show a lot clearer image than what they were showing before. All right, so let's just go back up again. Again, this is with me standing up. So if you were actually out here fishing, this is what you would see on that screen. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom these back in real quick. And another thing real quick, let me zoom these back to their original. So I'm just hitting that minus button to get those back to the base level again. All right, so now let's hit the menu button once. actually, hold on, that was the exit, but I mean the view button. Let's hit the menu button once, and we'll hit the menu button on the 10. And now we're just going to compare all of the settings on here. So you have all of the settings are the same. You have the pinging is set to on, sensitivity 17, contrast 10, sharpness off. So you kind of see all of these settings right here. So now when we look up here, I went ahead and took care of this ahead of time to make sure everything was set the same. The color palette is on palette number 2. Color palette is on palette number 2 down here also. All right, another thing that we can look at, guys, is let's exit out of both of these and let's go to, if you wanted to run a split screen. So let's go split screen on this one. Let's do split screen with the sonar, and let's go to a split screen with the sonar down here also. Now let's stand back up how it would look while you are fishing. That is what you will see. So at this point, the 12 obviously at the top still has a bigger image on that 360, and you can still see the details. The 10, you can still see the details pretty well, and the image is a little smaller. And once again, we can go back. Oh, the other thing that I did with the split screen, let me just show you guys that real quick. So if you hit the menu button once, all right, so we're going to split position now. So we have this one set on 40. Let me exit out of that, and let's go up to the 12, hit the menu button once, go down to split position, and we have that on 40. And basically what that will do is that will control the size of the split screen between. So if you see me, I'm changing that to, it's at a 70 position, and you see that makes this size smaller. So all I'm doing is just controlling how I want that level split. So I have I set it on 40 right now. Generally you can go ahead and set the 360 on a bigger size, because you may not need to see as much on your mapping or your sonar side of it. All right, so that's set on 40. That was just to show you that both of those are the same, so that everybody can see that we're comparing apples to apples on here. This is me standing up again. So the split screen will show you enough real estate on both sides to where you can still get an idea of what you need to do. And once again, you can press this. Let's hit the menu button, make sure we're on the right side. So it's showing that 360. Now we hit this plus button and we can zoom in. Now let's compare the two. So at this point, once we hit it one time, the 12 and the 10, now that 360 image is basically the same size, but remember, you're going to lose those outside edges on that 10 whenever you zoom in on that. All right, let's take a look at one more thing, guys. Let's go to mapping. So let's see if I have a shortcut set up for that. All right, don't have my mapping set up. Let me just go to that. All right, so now we are on the mapping screen, and that's pretty much the same thing as a sonar screen. You can set that split position to whatever you feel you need to see your mapping or your sonar, whatever is on each side, and your 360. All right, so that right there gives you an idea of your split screen and gives you a comparison size between the difference between that 12 and that 10 size unit. I do have a 9. I will do another comparison with, we can do the 9 and the 12 next, and then we can do the 9 and the 10. And that will pretty much cover all three of those ranges for the, I guess those may be the most popular size units that a lot of people are asking me about. But that way you'll have a comparison between all three of those units, and that'll give you a better idea of what you would need to pick based on, it's going to be, you know, a preference, because some people can see a little bit better than others. Sometimes you may need glasses, some people don't. But hey, we're out here to make the best out of what we have and what we have to work with, guys. All right, so if you guys have any further questions, make sure you continue to put those down in the comment section. As always, please continue to support the channel, hit the like button, share these videos, and get active in the comments. I really enjoy having you guys and hearing your feedback. All right, guys, I will see you guys on the next one.